All right, now we're going to dive into the actual worksheet to design your bottom of funnel so that you can go install that. And we're going to start here with the landing page and automated calendar. Now, the first question I've got you filling out is, where are you going to host this thing? Right? Like we host our page on Kajabi. We embed the calendar from Calendly into that page. Where are you going to host the landing page? There's a lot of different options if you're not using Kajabi for your funnel software, but you want to identify, all right, this is where we're going to post it. Then I want you to think through, why would somebody want to get on this call with you, right? Like actually flip the script, think about it from the other side of the virtual table and say, what are they going to walk away with, right? Are they going to walk away with some clarity on what the plan is? Am I going to give them some sort of roadmap? Am I going to send them, a model or a framework or a system or something, right? Like what is the value other than to buy your stuff? Why would they want to show up at this call? We don't need everybody to be ready to show up with a credit card out, but the people that are 7s, 8s, 9s in that messaging framework, what is it that you can pitch to them or that you can use to sell this appointment, right? To help confirm once they're on that landing page, all right, this is a good decision. Okay. So what's your pitch to sell the appointment? Write out the benefits here of the call and how you're going to frame that. I give you some examples in the lesson. Then which calendar platform are you going to use? I've mentioned a few times we use Calendly. We'll put a link to that below, and it's easy enough for me to use. So that's makes it for fairly easy, but which calendar platform are you going to use? Okay. So go out, look at a couple different options. Maybe you like something else, perfectly fine. But when you get through this, really what you want is you want to create an account for your automated calendar. You want to integrate your calendar into that calendar. Right. So I use Google email. I need to connect my calendar, my Google account to the Calendly system. So get that integrated. So it's reading off of your calendar, and then write or record your pitch to sell the appointment, and then embed the calendar and your pitch into that landing page. Most calendar softwares are going to give you like an embed code that's simple copy and paste. So use whatever you are. So it's simple copy and paste, but you'll go ahead and embed that, and then you publish that bad boy. Okay. So that's the landing page and the automated calendar piece to guide you through that. Then on the application form, what I want you to start with is, where are you going to ask the questions? Okay. Again, if you're using Calendly, you can just add those questions into Calendly. Most calendar softwares are going to have this option if they are used for sales in any way, shape, or form. But where are you going to host that question? Another way of doing this, and the reason I ask it is, you could ask that question on the form that you have a landing page, and then it directs you to the calendar. That's another way to do it. And that might be a way to integrate some of the data that you're getting from the application form into the list. To me, it just complicates it a little bit more. So, pick your poison. What platform are you to use to host the form in the application? And then think through, what are the pieces of information that you would like to know most about your prospects or about the call before somebody gets on that call, right? So for me, I want to know, have they started a business, or are they thinking about starting a business? What stage are they at? Where do they want to get to? Like that determines what kind of entrepreneur we're working with. We want to know, what are the challenges, or what do they think the challenges in getting there are? And we want to know the level of urgency. It may be different for you. You feel free to steal those, but it may be different for you. So think through, what are those critical pieces of information, and then look at all those bullet points and ask, what are 5 questions that I can ask on this application form that are going to help me get the most important or the most impactful pieces of those information before I actually get on the call? Okay. So what questions can you ask? And then I just have a simple, can you append your list with the data, right? If not, you'll integrate it later. But one thing just to remember, this is really valuable information. You'll still see it on your sales call. It'll come through on your calendar. So don't worry about that. And you can get it later, usually in almost every calendar software, but if you can integrate it, even better. Okay. So that's the application form. And then on the thank you page, let's get this thing designed. Where are you going to host this thing? Chances are it's going to be the same place you're hosting the landing page here. I wouldn't recommend having, too many different platforms out there for this. So where will you host the thank you page? Then write your 1 to 3 video script for your thank you video. Again, here you want to thank them for booking the call. You want to reaffirm their decision and what they're going to get out of it. You want to reaffirm the importance of showing up. That way they get what they're getting out of it, and offer up some professional courtesy if they're going to change things, or they're going to cancel, or they're not going to be able to make that call. Okay. So write your script here. And then what are the 3 to 5 best pieces of content? What's your greatest hits? Okay. And if you don't have a library of content to go to, that's okay. Grab what you can. Like, you've got 3 or 5 pieces of content. And if you don't, you can create it, but get a few pieces of content that you can share. You remember in the lesson, I share my MVP, and on my MVP, I actually say one of the action steps is just go to my LinkedIn page. And that link actually takes them to the post page of all my posts, so that when they get there, they start scrolling through that. But send them somewhere so that they can digest more content. That's what we want them to do. And then, are there any actions or any specific steps or directions that you need them to follow before they get on the call? So list those here. Like, if your software calendar doesn't add the calendar invite to their calendar automatically, maybe you want to tell them to make sure to do that. Okay. If your domain hits the spam list a lot, maybe you need to tell them to, whitelist your domain name. I don't recommend it. Most people won't, but think through, are there any expectations or things or steps that you need them to take before you get on the call? Any content that you need them to read, any specific, forms, anything like that. Okay. And then, is your automated calendar set to auto direct to a thank you page after booking, right? You want to make sure that you've got this set up, that from the application form and when they book on this automated calendar, that they get directed to this thank you page. So make sure that that's set up. And then the pre-call sequence. Is the calendar invite sent to prospects after they book the call? Yes or no? Make sure that that is a yes before you actually start launching this thing. And then write the copy for your marketing email to go to prospects to book a call. Try to reinforce the value that they're going to get from the call and any additional content they can explore in social proof. Like I said in the lesson, if you need to go to what you have in the thank you page to get rolling, then do that. All right. If not, if you have other options, think through, what's the messaging, what's the copy, what's the angle that I want to use to make sure that they're excited about showing up to this call, right? Maybe there's some case studies that they go, damn, I really want those results, right? Maybe there's some testimonials. Maybe it's some gifts that they're going to get, or maybe it's the value of the call itself, right? But think through, what is it that you want to pitch to them? What content do you want them to dive into, and what value are they going to get from this call? Whip up an email and make sure that you've got that in your pre-call sequence, and then write the copy for your SMS reminder here. And you can use, what I have in the lesson, perfectly fine, but go ahead and plug that in. And this should be enough to make sure that you've got a good bottom of funnel process. Now, one thing to add here is this process is basically never done. Like, as I mentioned in the lesson, we're in the process of updating ours right now. Chances are, if you're watching this 18 months after I recorded that, if this is still live, probably updating it again, right? Like, this is a process that's continually optimized, which is why I say you don't want things to hold up publishing this stuff. Okay. If you don't have something, if it's not perfect, fine. Having a bottom of funnel process at all puts you ahead of the curve. Okay. So good enough, hit publish. And then we go put people into the funnel, and we run through this process. We come back to all these things, and we iterate, and we optimize, and we tweak, and we add, and we change it later. Okay. And so this concludes the funnel process, right? We've got the top, we've got the middle, we've got the bottom, and this is going to get us rolling. This is a great system to ensure that we're able to maximize our effort, maximize our content, maximize the attention and the awareness that we're going to be creating. Next steps are obviously going to be things like, how do we get more traffic to it? How do we convert people once they do get to the call? All of that we'll get to, but this is the funnel piece. Adios.